One of the best things about working at weddings is when you get the big 3-course meal provided for you as well. It's like going to work and getting a slap-up meal.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? So I suppose that's like...
I mean, don't feel like you've got to, if you're getting married, don't feel like you've got to provide your videographers and your photographers and stuff with meals. But bear in mind that they're going to be working for you all day, and if you do, it'll put them in a good mood. And a happy videographer is a good videographer.
That's a good point. Hey, that's the quote for social media.
Yeah,
happy videographer is a good videographer. Hi, I'm Josh, this is Jake, we're the Ingamells Brothers, and we play with cameras for a living.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. And today we're going to talk about weddings. Weddings. Lots of videographers see wedding videos as a dirty word, or as 2 words, dirty 2 words. Like, we've interviewed other videographers, we see loads of people on YouTube talking about this, and they go, oh, I do any kind of video work, but I don't do weddings, I hate doing weddings.
I don't get it.
No, I don't get it.
I enjoy them. I really like them.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, a wedding is supposed to be one of the best days of your life, and most people at a wedding are in a really good mood. So if you go to work with sort of 50 to 100 people in a room who are all in a really good mood, you're probably going to have a good day at work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long day. There's like a lot of editing to do and stuff like that, but they're great on so many levels. For a start off, like Josh said, it's a good day. Everyone's in a good mood. Second of all, you can be creative. You don't know what the day might throw at you. There might be rain, there might be any number of obstacles, but at the same time, there might be loads of new creative places for you to film, loads of woods, castles, barns.
You get smoke grenades out,
city
get the drone out.
Yeah, you get to do loads of crazy stuff when you've got people who are normally up for doing it.
Technically, it's quite difficult as well because you've got zero control over the day. It's not like in the studio where we can say, let's just turn the intensity of that light up by 3%.
Yeah.
Like if the venue decide that the top table is going to have a bright window behind it, you've got to deal with that.
Yeah.
If the one window is outside and it's super blue outside and then the cold temperature inside is really tungsten, you've got to deal with that. And so it keeps you on your toes. I think it's quite good for sort of learning your chops as a videographer.
And you can't mess it up because they're not going to redo it.
Yeah, there's no retakes.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why it kind of like really pushes you to become a better videographer. So
and you have to learn not just the video side, but sound, because a lot of emotion and a lot of the wedding day is in the sound. It's in the vowels, it's in the speeches. So you've got to master both parts, the imagery and the sound at the same time.
And not just that, but even the social aspect of it, because like typically I'll go and film a bride's morning while you might film a groom's morning and like drone and all that other stuff. But as a guy, you've got to walk into a hotel room or whatever, someone's house with 4 or 5 women that are getting ready, getting makeup done, hair done, all this sort of stuff. And you're sat there pointing a camera in the face and you've got to not just get good footage, but you've got to make them feel comfortable and then have a laugh and be respectful. And it's a very weird balance, and it's a skill which for me personally, but people that know me, it must be a really weird thing to think that I'll be good at that. But I enjoy that side of things. I'm quite a...
Out of the two of us, I'm normally the outspoken one who does all the networking, the presenting. You're normally the quieter one, except you're not quiet at all, especially when you've got a few pints down you. But yeah, you're the one who handles the bride's morning, which is weird, but it is what it is.
It's a really unique skill, and it's quite enjoyable, really.
But it's transferable, because when you're working with corporate clients as well, that being personable is important. And that brings us on to one of the best things about working at weddings is when you get the big 3-course meal provided for you as well. It's like going to work and getting a slap-up meal.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? So I suppose that's like...
I mean, don't feel like you've got to, if you're getting married, don't feel like you've got to provide your videographers and your photographers and stuff with meals. But bear in mind that they're going to be working for you all day, and if you do, it'll put them in a good mood. And a happy videographer is a good videographer.
That's a good point. Hey, that's the quote for social media.
Yeah,
happy videographer is a good videographer. And then, if you want to get really boring about it, from a purely business sense, weddings, apart from in the pandemic, weddings are fantastic. People book the weddings like what, a year, 2 years in advance?
I think we've got one asking for 2024 2024.
Yeah,
it's 2021 at the moment.
Yeah, we had an inquiry of 2024.
So that's how far ahead we can plan our business, which is amazing.
So like this normally in a year we'd do about 40 to 45 weddings. So this summer is completely crazy because we've got the people from rearrange from last year as well. So we've got 20 weddings in August alone, which is going to be intense, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. It can be really good. And then next year, 2022, we've already got, I think, 32 weddings on the books.
Something like that, yeah.
And the magic number for us is, as a company, when we hit 34 weddings, that is our very basic overheads already taken care of. So we know going into next year, we've pretty much paid the bills.
Yeah.
We've paid our basic wages.
Yeah.
Anything we get commercial as a bonus, anything we get like going out and playing gigs as a band, because we do that sometimes, that's a little bonus.
And yeah, if we can, at that point, once we know everything else is covered, we can start thinking about how we're going to improve our gear, how we're going to improve our studio, how we can take a little bit of a bonus, which is always fun.
Yeah, because we've got bills of ourselves to pay.
Yeah.
I've got a kid to provide for. It's nice to get a bonus when he's growing out of his clothes every 2 seconds. But yeah, weddings are fantastic for knowing that next year I've hit that kind of magic threshold of, yes, we're in profit, we can now reinvest in gear, we can build the company, we can even look at taking on employees, because that's the new one for us now. We're taking on an editor part-time to help us with the workload from weddings, because as we expand into commercial work, we need to find a balance between keeping these weddings going at the level they're at and building the commercial, and then having the studio come in and keeping us busy. I mean, it's a bit of a... But it's a cool place to be in.
Right, so your top tip for if you are a videographer filming a wedding, and your top tip for someone that's getting married that is thinking about getting a videographer, one for each.
You should also add in like a third point as to why, if you're a videographer who is currently hating weddings, you should just give it a second thought.
Yeah, if you want.
Right, so top tip, I think cameras and gear and all that rubbish aside, top tip is just be personable, like you were saying, on the wedding day. If you are personable and you get on with the people you're filming, you say hello and you're nice to them, you're going to get better footage, because people aren't going to be thinking, who's that weirdo pointing the camera at me? They're going to get why you're there. They're going to think, oh, he's a nice guy. Yeah, he can film it.
Yep.
And your day is going to go so much better.
Yeah.
What was the second thing you asked? I can't remember.
So that's from a videographer filming a wedding. What about if you're someone hiring a videographer for your wedding?
So everybody is looking for something slightly different out of their wedding video. Like you might just want a trailer, which is all cinematic, or for you, another couple might want really just be, I need to capture the vows. That's really important. So check out loads of videographers, find one which matches the style that represents you guys best, and then speak to a few of them. Don't just speak to one, speak to a few, and just get a feeling for what it's going to be like to work with them, because at the end of the day, their work aside, your wedding day, you're going to spend a lot of time with your photographer and your videographer. And if you don't get on with them, it could quite easily ruin your day. So find someone who matches your style and then talk to them and make sure you get on with them.
Yep.
That's pretty much the same tip as the first one, just from the other side.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And the third one was, if you're a videographer and you hate weddings, like if you don't want to do them, fair enough. I'm not saying you should do them, but don't be put off just because everybody says that they're rubbish. They're not. They can be really good. They can be a really good laugh. And from a business point of view, they're fantastic because people book so far in advance.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that episode's done. We should wrap this up and we should just talk about something else.
Pretty much, yeah. I would say, just for my top tip for if you are videoing a wedding, is don't skimp out on your audio equipment. Make sure you're capturing the audio and spend just as much time and effort on that side of it as you do the filming bit of it, because it is just, video and photo are not the same thing. This is my top tip for people if you are getting married. They're not the same thing. Don't treat them as the same thing. They're not. Just watch a video, then look at the photos from that same wedding. You'll get completely different, like...
It's the audio that does it.
Right,
audio is what stands video apart from photography, because audio can elicit an emotion. It's not just what's being said, it's how it's being said, it's the tone of voice, all that kind of stuff. It's important. And I suppose if you want to delve into the gear, I know I've tried to wrap it up a second ago, but I'm getting back into it. If you want to delve into the gear, that's important from an audio point of view. Loads of videographers at weddings, they use those little Sony dictaphones, and we got 6 of them. After using them for 2 years, they're a pain in the ass. Put them in the bin. They're crap.
So sell them to the next videographer.
Yeah, sell them on. What you need to do is there's these little there's these Sennheiser wireless lapels, and the receiver is just got an XLR on the end. You put it straight into the top part of your camera, and it syncs to the sender. Put it on them. So much easier because you're not going to sync stuff in post.
Nope.
It's a fantastic quality audio. Anything Sennheiser, just buy it.
You can also monitor it from your camera while you're filming it, rather than putting a little dictaphone on someone and going, I hope that's working, see in a bit.
Yeah, and it means when you get into post, it's all lined up, and you can highlight all your 3 angles. We use Final Cut. You can pick your 3 angles up and go, please sync all that for me, Final Cut, and it'll just go, boom, sorted. Multicam the shit out of that ceremony. Workflow is so much quicker. Right,
Very
now
passionate about that.
Yeah. It's because our workflow's got so much easier since we bought those four Sennheisers.
Yeah.
I'll put the link to the Sennheisers we bought in the description below.
Yeah, it's not going to be an affiliate link. We're not that cool.
No.
So we're not trying to...
And if you're listening to this on some other platform that's not YouTube, I apologise. Go to YouTube, the link's on there.
It is.
And subscribe while you're at it.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Cool. Let's leave it there.
See ya.
Bye.